How are we going, everyone? Well, the match is not going ahead. You would have figured that out by now and you've heard the information. It's not going ahead. I've spent the last couple of hours trying to get my flights cancelled and get refunds, trying to get my accommodation, no refund accommodation refunded, and they were nice enough to do that, so that was good, just given the extenuating circumstances. But really, the big question now is what is going to happen now? What is going to happen now? And that's really what this video is about. The match has been cancelled, so we are not playing in the opening round. So there are a couple of options available, and I think there looks like there's three main options, it appears, without totally restructuring the fixture. And I'll go through what I think might happen and what I think probably should happen. So one option, the first option, is to play the match before the finals in the pre-finals bye time slot. So the fixture there's no changes to the fixture at all from here on in, and Essendon just play the Gold Coast in the pre-finals bye. That's not ideal, I don't think. First of all, if the players don't make the finals from either team, they're probably going to want to be on Mad Monday by then. And if they do make the finals, they're not going to have the week off, and everyone else is. So that is a possibility, but I don't think that is ideal. Another option that might be considered is to just sandwich the game midweek in later in the season. So you've got a game on a Saturday, and then you just put the Gold Coast Essendon game on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night, and then you play the following Saturday and you just sandwich it in the middle. And that's that. I mean, the thing is, you could have a bye. One of the teams could have a bye on the Saturday following it, but the thing is, both teams don't have a bye following it. Essendon and the Gold Coast have their byes in separate weeks. So to be fair, if you did that, you would have to really, so that both teams were treated the same, you would really have to, have both teams playing either side on either side of the weekend, the bookends, and have just a match sandwich in the middle. But that means having a 3-day break or a 4-day break. It's just not a good idea. If you play, on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night, and then, having a 3-day break before it and a 4-day break after it, that's not an ideal situation. But it is an option. The other option, and this is the one that I think will probably happen, is, I'll just show you, this is the fixture for rounds 14, 15 and 16. And you can see in round 14, the Gold Coast have a bye, Essendon do not, but Essendon play Geelong. So the solution here would be, and this is actually quite a simple solution, but there is a slight complication for it, which I'll explain after it. The simple solution is for Essendon to play the Gold Coast in that round, up at the Gold Coast. Geelong get a bye instead, so Geelong have their bye in that round. And then in round 16, where Essendon and Geelong have a bye, as you can see, Essendon just play Geelong in that round. And that's a straight swap. You got Essendon versus the Gold Coast in round 14, Geelong with the bye, and Essendon versus Geelong in round 16, and everything is sorted, simple, and everything's done. I think that is the best solution. The problem with that is Essendon and the Gold Coast do not actually get a mid-season bye. Essendon's bye is in round 4 against Hawthorn. Not against Hawthorn, but Essendon bye is in round 4 with Hawthorn. Essendon and Hawthorn have a bye in round 4 together. And that would mean that Essendon do not, and the Gold Coast as well, do not have a break from that point onwards. Gold Coast have their bye in round 2, Essendon have their bye in round 4, and there would be no break for the teams. They would just play straight through to round 24, while everyone else gets a mid-season bye. We do get a bye, it's just early in the season. So that is the slight complication there. I still think that's the best option. My sort of motto with this sort of thing is don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I think it's a good phrase. I think it's applicable to a lot of things. And when there is no perfect solution, you just have to pick the least bad solution. Now, some of you might say, well, how about we just don't have a bye in round 4, right? Round 4 we have the bye, Essendon and Hawthorn have the bye, and we just move the bye to the middle of the season. Well, we can't really do that because the bye is in round 4. If Essendon was to, say, play Hawthorn in round 4, if the two teams played each other, remembering that we played them in round 1, so we would have played them twice in 4 weeks. The problem with doing that is that we only play Hawthorn once this year. So if we met them again twice, there's a team who we play twice who we would have to play once. And that would mean a total restructure of the entire fixture from top to bottom, and it would affect nearly every team. Once you start changing who plays who twice and once, it doesn't just affect Essendon and Hawthorn, it affects everybody. So you can't just have Essendon playing Hawthorn in round 4 where we both have a bye, because it just doesn't work long term. It means who do we then play once who we otherwise would have played twice? And it just has a domino effect for the rest of the season and for the other teams. So that's not really an option. So round 4 really has to remain unchanged. And if round 4 remains unchanged and our bye is in round 4, then that is our bye. We don't get a mid-season bye. Our bye is in round 4. You can't get a bye in the middle of the season, because if we have a bye in the middle of the season and in round 4, then that means we're only playing 22 matches, not 23. So our bye is in round 4. That is the time we get the bye, and we would then play straight through to the final round with the match against the Gold Coast in round 14 and the match against Geelong in round 16. Now, I think that is the way to go. I'm not actually as worried about not getting a mid-season bye as others. Prior to the game against Carlton on the King's birthday, we actually have a 10-day break. We play on the Thursday night prior to that against the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba. And then we have a 10-day break before the game against Carlton, which is on a Sunday night prior to the King's birthday. So we actually do have a reasonable break there in the mid-season before the King's birthday match. 10 days. Okay, it's not 14 days, but it's not 6 days either. You know, it's a reasonable break. So I think that's something to take into account. And I would rather us, this is my opinion, I would rather us be a anytime, anywhere type of club. I don't want to be a club that whinges and says, we haven't got a mid-season break. That's, woe is us, woe is me, poor old Essendon. Look, at the end of the day, strong clubs don't complain about that sort of thing. You just deal with what you're given. Life isn't fair, and if it means you don't get a mid-season bye, well, it's unfortunate, but that's life. Deal with it. Strong clubs deal with it. Don't complain about it and get on with it. Because unfortunately, guys, I don't think there's going to be a mid-season break. As long as the bye is in round 4, and that's not going to be changing, I don't think, then you can't have a bye in the middle of the season. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Then, that means only playing 22 games. Our single bye now is in round 4. So I think of those 3 options, I think that final option is the best one. Playing the Gold Coast in round 14. The bye, Geelong get a bye in that round. And then Essendon play Geelong in round 16. I think that is the way to go. Sure, we could do option 2, where we play a mid-season game against Gold Coast, where we just sandwich it in between 2 other rounds. And yeah, you get a mid-season bye that way. But really, playing 3 games in 7 days is not worth it to have a mid-season bye. I'd rather not have the mid-season bye and avoid playing 3 games in 7 days. I'd rather just play the once a week, once every 7 days option, rather than, play 3 games in 7 days with a midweek match sandwich in the middle, and somewhere along the line you get a week off. I mean, look, we have a 10-day break prior to the Carlton game anyway, so I think we just deal with it. That would be my option, is that if they can get a deal done with the Players Association to have us not have a mid-season bye, which, like I said, we can't. It's just, provided round 4 stays as it is, where the bye's in round 4, there is no way to also have a mid-season bye. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work unless you only play 22 games instead of 23, which isn't going to happen. So what do you guys think of those 3 options? I've outlined 3 options. I think they're the only realistic 3 options. I mean, there's lots of weird and wacky options, but really, without totally redoing the fixture from top to bottom, that to me looks like it's the 3 options that are available. Playing either in the pre-finals bye time slot prior to the finals. Number 2, sandwiching a game in the middle of 2 rounds where we still get a mid-season break, but we shove the Gold Coast game in between 2 of the other rounds, playing 3 games in 7 or 8 days. Or option 3, the better one, what I think, we don't get a mid-season break, but we just play the Gold Coast in round 14 and Geelong in round 16, and our single bye is in round 4. I think that's the best option. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I think it's the only way to go going forward and the most realistic thing, and I think that's probably what the AFL will do. What do you guys think? Leave a message in the comments. Please leave a like for this channel, subscribe if you would like to, and as always, have a great day.